Welcome to the premiere episode of Space to Talk. I'm Thomas Philpott,
I'm Chase Mason.
and today we're going to talk about the SpaceX launch I guess that was 2 days ago now. Chase, how about you just start off with what is the Falcon Heavy, which is, of course, the rocket that they used.
Yep. So let's talk about the Falcon Heavy. So basically, Elon Musk, current CEO of SpaceX, I'm sure you all have seen the videos of their Falcon 9 rocket, which is a pretty good sized rocket. And just recently, they've been able to shoot the rocket up, deliver something to low Earth orbit, land it, fuel it back up, and then use it again, which is incredible. So Elon Musk said, that's not enough. What if we want to take a lot of weight up to low Earth orbit? So he said, why don't we just strap 3 Falcon 9 rockets together? And that's what he did. So the Falcon Heavy is ginormous and is capable of lifting 64 metric tons up into low Earth orbit.
And this is the biggest rocket that has ever been launched by humankind, right?
Actually, it's not. The Saturn V rocket, which is what they used during the Apollo missions, that actually still tops it.
Really?
But the goal of the Falcon Heavy is not to get man to the moon or to Mars. It's just to get payloads up to low Earth orbit.
So it's just going to orbit around just the Earth and the Sun, or what?
The Tesla Roadster that they launched a couple days ago? Yeah, the original plan was to have it orbit around Earth and Mars. And originally it was going to be able to orbit for about 1 billion years. But on the final burn, they messed it up. So the orbit did get messed up. And it's currently going to fly through the asteroid belt.
So it's going to be destroyed, is what you're saying?
Probably. The thing about the asteroid belt is a lot of people kind of have a misconception where it's like in movies, whenever you go through an asteroid belt, it's like asteroids everywhere and you have to dodge in and out of them. But in reality, they're very far apart from each other. So the odds of it hitting an asteroid are very low. I haven't read into this too much, but I would guess that some other planet is going to pull it into its orbit and then it'll crash into another planet, probably Jupiter.
Jupiter. And let's talk about the return of the 2 Falcons is what they called it, which were the boosters, right? They landed perfectly upright. So how is that possible?
That's kind of been the goal of SpaceX since they were founded, is to make reusable rockets. Because the thing is, the Falcon Heavy is currently it's the most powerful rocket currently in use by humans. And the thing is, the second place is 3 times the cost of the Falcon Heavy. And the reason that is because the Falcon Heavy uses those reusable rockets. And so it's basically just mankind's best ingenuity at its finest.
So I read into, there's a couple of other institutions now wanting to use the Falcon Heavy as a way to get stuff and research up into space.
Right.
And one of them they launched up, it was like the ARC Foundation, I think it's called.
Okay.
They basically are sending stuff, since they think humans will become an interplanet species and all that.
Interplanetary,
Yeah. So they're sending up stuff of like humanity's greatest accomplishments, like books, movies, stuff like that, all recorded on stuff. And they sent up, it was like a 3-part book just about, it was like by the guy who founded the ARC Foundation and what his goal was with it. What are some of the other people wanting to use this?
I would imagine a lot of companies are going for this. Any company that wants to get a satellite up into low Earth orbit. NASA is partnered with SpaceX, so anytime NASA wants to shoot something up into space, their first go-to is SpaceX right now, which is incredible. Because SpaceX is a private company, keep in mind.
Yeah. So how do you think this is getting people excited about space? Of course, SpaceX has said multiple times they want to send people to Mars and stuff like that, which of course everyone gets hyped about, but how else is this getting people excited?
What's so beautiful about this is Elon Musk could have easily just put a couple tons of bricks on top of the rocket, because all they really wanted to do with this mission is prove that the rocket works. They just wanted to test everything out, just make sure that it can indeed deliver a payload to low Earth orbit. But he didn't think that was cool enough. So he took a Tesla Roadster. He's also the CFO, I think, of Tesla. He took a Tesla Roadster, strapped a dummy in there, and said, let's have that orbit around Earth and Mars for the next billion years. So the thing about that is it's getting people excited for space again. Like, looking on Twitter, Elon Musk's tweets are getting almost 500,000 likes, which is incredible because lately people don't really care about space exploration, and it's my personal opinion that that's the future of humanity, and people just kind of push it to the back of their minds and never think about it. But this is getting that buzz started again.
Yeah. Now let's talk about the Mars mission. He has that planned for, 2027 is when he wants people to land on there,
Yeah.
and they plan on setting stuff up 2020 or what?
Yeah, it moves around a lot. Basically, somewhere in the late 2020s, early 2030s.
And he wants to make a colony there, but a lot of people have said it might be better if we just use that as a stepping stone for planet hopping or moon
Right.
hopping for some people that want us to go to Titan. What do you think about that?
SpaceX isn't really interested in the actual colonization. They're just interested in giving people a means of getting to Mars. So you might have seen their video. You might have seen their video about the ITS, which is, I think, stands for like I don't know what it stands for, but it's really big. It's a really big rocket. And basically, Elon Musk claims that by the mid-2030s, he will be able to sell a ticket to Mars for about $20,000.
Isn't the initial cost probably, he says he wants it to be less than a median household, like
Yearly
cost-
income, maybe.
yearly income?
Yeah. I personally don't think that's going to happen. It's a bit too optimistic. That's kind of assuming that everything goes perfectly. But just the idea of it and just the hype that builds.
The ITF, as you mentioned, it's huge. He claims it can hold 100 people, like passengers, plus the crew, plus, whatever the passengers bring with them,
Yeah, the cargo.
cargo. So do you think that they're going to have to, instead of charging per person, they're going to have to charge per cargo? Like,
That's kind
what
of
you
an
have?
interesting thought. Or maybe they just say that, like currently whenever you go to board Southwest, they tell you your carry-on can't be above like a certain size. Maybe it'd be based on weight. Like you can only take this amount of weight of cargo with you to Mars.
So what are your thoughts about Mars? Do you think we should focus on that, or a different moon perhaps, such as Titan, or is it Europa?
Europa, yeah. That's another place that people want to go with scientists to check it out. Currently, there's a lot of buzz about like a moon base. So people want to set up a base on the moon that could be used for refueling. And if you launch, so Earth's gravity makes it very hard to get stuff out of like Earth's orbit. But once you break out of Earth's orbit, it takes just a little bit of power to go a long ways. So if we set up a base on the moon barely has any gravity, so it'd be super easy to launch off of the moon to Mars. Significantly easier.
All right, that's all the time we have. We'll see you guys here next time for Space to Talk.